Page 50, Chapter 6, Exploring the G major scale from Various Angles. This chapter attempts to show you where the notes of the melodic G scale come from. And in exploring this in various ways, you will begin to visualize the actual notes you are playing in this G scale rather than just running a pattern. This kind of knowledge should prove helpful in your ability to improvise using this melodic G major scale. Let's take a look at page 51, diagram 11. Extracting the notes from the G chromatic scale to form the G major scale. So the diagram on the left is showing you the entire G chromatic scale on the G string, and then the diagram on the right shows you the notes extracted from there to give you a G major scale, all on the third string. This was done this way just so you can see the distances between each of the individual notes of the G scale. So what I'll do now is I'll take that diagram on the right and play through these notes of the G major scale. That would be starting with that circled open G, and then A at the third string, second fret, B at the third string, fourth fret, C at the third string, fifth fret, D at the third string, seventh fret, E at the third string, ninth fret, and F sharp at the third string, 11th fret. Finally, high G at the third string, 12th fret. Let me play that for you up and down. I'll give you a count if you want to try it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, G, F sharp, E, B, C, B, A, G. So what this diagram also tells you is, again, the distances between each of these G scale pitches. So from G to A, there is a fret in between. Therefore, that is a whole step, or 2 frets. Then, from A to B, that is also a whole step, or 2 frets. Then, B to C is just 1 fret, therefore a half step. And then from C to D, it's another 2 frets, or a whole step. And then from D to E is another whole step. From E to F sharp, another whole step. From F sharp to high G is a half step. So once again, I derive from this scale from G to A, whole step to A, whole step to B, half a step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, and a half step to G. And this creates the formula that we talk about on the next page. Turn to page 52. On 52, we have what looks like an extremely complicated table, and I'll try my best to break this down for you. We have a scale degree, which means the numbered note of this G major scale. So the scale degree of 1 is G, that's the note name below the 1, G open. Then scale degree number 2, notice the space because it's a whole step up to A. Then we leave another space for the whole step up to number 3, B. Then no space from B to C because it's a half step. And then a space from C to D, or 4 to 5, for a whole step. From there, another space from D to E for another whole step, 5 to 6. Another space from E to F sharp, which is a whole step, 6 to 7. And then a half step from 7 to 8, F sharp to high G, 12th fret. Now underneath the note name area of this table, I wrote the words whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And the reason why those words are between the notes of the major scale is to show you those fretted distances. So from open G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, and a half step to high G. Then the bottom of the table shows you the number of frets of either the whole steps or the half steps. It'll either be 2 for the space between notes, or it'll be 1 for no space between the notes. So from G, we go 2 frets to A. From A, we go 2 frets to B. From B, we go 1 fret to C. From C, we go 2 frets to D. From D, we go 2 frets to E. From E, we go 2 frets to F sharp. And then we go 1 fret to high G. This set of numbers at the bottom of that table is my template for forming any major scale. And on page 53, if you look at diagram 12, extracting the notes from the D chromatic scale to form the D major scale, you'll see a similar setup. And it should work the same way. So I'm going to play the notes on the diagram on the right on page 53. I have open D, 2 frets to E, 2 frets to F sharp, 1 fret to G, 2 frets to A, 2 frets to B, 2 frets to C sharp, and 1 fret to D. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, fretwise. So what this demonstrates is that this formula works for a scale starting on any note on your banjo. As you get into scales with more sharps and or more flats, the process is a little more complicated, but the way of arriving at it is the same. Now, in order to play this G major scale using open strings and so forth to make it playable with ease, so turning to page 54 now, I'm looking at a set of notes that are lined up about halfway down the page. And these notes are numbered notes of the G major scale. 1, G or third. Note number 3, B or second. Note number 5, D or first. And note number 8, high G or fifth. So that's telling you that the 1, 3, 5, and 8 notes of the G major scale are going to be found on open strings. Then it's a matter of filling in the other notes of the scale on fretted notes that are nearby for ease of playing. So now I'll play exercise 1 on page 54, which just gets you used to the locations of the open string notes of the melodic G major scale. I'll give you a count of 4, and this is in quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. So those are all of the available open strings within the G major scale. Now, that leaves you with 4 remaining notes that are not found on open strings. Note number 2, A, note number 4, C, note number 6, E, and note number 7, F sharp. Before locating those notes, on the next page are 2 melodic picking pattern exercises, 2 and 3, on all open strings. The picking hand fingers that have been indicated are essential. Page 55. Exercise 2, open string preparatory exercise, quarter notes. And again, notice the picking hand fingerings. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, exercise 3, open string preparatory exercise, eighth notes. This is the exact same notes from exercise 2, but now it's twice as fast, but the picking hand is the same. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, under exercise 3, let's read the text together. Here comes the brain strain part of this undertaking. The starting note of this G scale is third string open, picked with index finger. The second note, A, has to be located on the fourth string, that second open string you played in the previous exercises, that is. The second note, A, has to be located on the fourth string for the next note of the scale. You originally found that second note on the third string, second fret. Now, that A note must be transferred to the fourth string to get the same pitch in a new and different string and fret location. To achieve this, put to use the following diagram of 7 frets. Diagram 13 shows a chromatic scale starting at open D or fourth string and working its way up to A. Diagram 13, transferring the A note, this one here, from its usual location at third string, second fret, to fourth string using the chromatic scale as a guide. So we start at open D or fourth string, first fret D sharp, second fret E, third fret F, fourth fret F sharp, fifth fret G, sixth fret G sharp, seventh fret A. There it is. So if I hit the pitch at third string, second fret, I get that. If I hit the pitch at fourth string, seventh fret, I get, they're the same pitch. The The only difference is the string is thicker at the fourth string, so it may sound a little thumpier, but that's how you start that melodic G scale. Open G and fourth string, 7th fret, A. Turning to page 56. Exercise 4 is a picking exercise using your first two melodic G scale notes. The index finger always picks the third string, and the thumb must pick the fourth string, 7th fret. Exercise 4, G and A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, bring the open B string into the field of play in exercise 5. Picking and wise, index picks the third string, thumb picks the fourth string, 7th fret, and index picks the open second string, B. Exercise 5, G, A, and B. I'm going to start saying notes now during these exercises. Maybe I'll do it this way. The first time through, I'll say the notes. The second time, I'll shut up so you can hear the notes better. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, A, G, A, B, A, B, A, G, A, G, A, B, A, B, A, G, A, B, A, G, A, B, A, B, A, G, A, B, A, G. The next note in the scale goes alphabetically from B to C. The C note that was found in the original G scale on the third string, 5th fret to be exact, is exactly the one that is needed. There are now two open notes, G and B, and two fretted notes, A and C, 5th fret. And again, A, 7th fret, C, 5th fret. The two open strings, G and B, are picked with index finger, and the fretted strings, A and C, are picked with the thumb. In case you hadn't noticed, the A on fourth string is fretted with ring finger, and the C on third string is fretted with index. Exercise 6 will get you through these first four notes, and you're halfway there. Woohoo! Exercise 6, G, A, B, and C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. G, A, G, A, B, C, B, C, B, A, G, A, B, C, B, C, B, A, G, A, G, A, B, A, G, A, B, C, B, A, G. C, as you know, is followed by D. And, lucky for you, this D is found on the open first string. No figuring or analysis, just pick it with the usual middle finger when it shows up. Exercise 7, G, A, B, C, and D. Notice with exercise 7, there are two repeated sections in this. the first two measures and the second two measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, A, G, A, B, C, B, C, B, C, B, C, B, C, B, A. G, A, B, C, D, C, B, A, D, C, B, A, B, A, G. Page 57. From D, it's time to go to the next letter, E. In order to stay in a convenient fretboard position, the E note must be located on the B or second string. This requires breaking out a fretboard diagram and working the chromatic scale up the B string until we arrive at E. Diagram 14, transferring the E note from its usual location on the first string second fret. Now, how do I really know that? Well, the first string open is D. If you know your chromatic scale by now, the first string first fret is D sharp, and then the second fret is E. So we're looking for that pitch E on your second string. So once again, diagram 14 is transferring the E note from its usual location on the first string second fret to second string using the chromatic scale as a guide, now on the B string. So here we are at open B. First fret is directly to C. Next is second fret C sharp, third fret D, fourth fret D sharp, fifth fret E. Aha, there it is. So we had E on the first string second fret. Now we have E on the second string fifth fret. Same pitch. From this analysis of the B string, it has been determined that the E note in question is at the second string fifth fret. This E was transferred from its usual location at the first string second fret. Pick this E note with your index finger, and very importantly, fret it with the middle finger. Thus, the sixth note of the scale gets added in exercise 8. Exercise 8, G, A, B, C, D, and E. Again, this has two repeated sections, in the first two measures and then in the second two measures. Here we go on exercise 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, A, G, A, B, C, B, C, D, E, D, E, D, C, B, A. G, A, B, C, D, E, D, C, B, C, D, E, D, C, B, A. And now for the final two notes that complete this one-octave G major scale. Having left off at E, the next letter is F. However, according to the major scale construction rules, it has to be an F sharp. This particular pitch of F sharp must be located on the first string. On the next page, diagram 15 shows you a fretboard for the necessary chromatic scale calculations on the first string. So turn to page 58, and we're talking diagram 15, finding F sharp on the first string. If you know your chromatic scale by now, shouldn't be too hard. We're starting at open D, first string open, D sharp, first fret, E, second fret, F, third fret, F sharp, fourth fret. That's the one we want, F sharp at the fourth fret. And that will be fretted with your index finger and always picked with the middle finger. The final note of this one octave G scale is high G. originally located at the 12th fret back in diagram 11, the same pitch can be found on your 5th string open. Let's compare. 3rd string, 12th fret, high G, and 5th string open. Indeed, same pitch. And that is the final note of your 1 octave G scale. So, with that, we'll do exercise 9. It also has two measure repeated sections. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Still on page 58, exercise 10, a classical style study based on the G major scale. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. On the next track, you'll find the final exercise in this chapter 6, a 2-octave G scale study. Let me tell you, it's gonna drive you nuts.